Good Monday morning, everybody. Chris Allen with your weather podcast for this December 30th. It is New Year's Eve, if you want to call it that. I prefer to call it that, just to keep up. Yep, tomorrow's the actual New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day. As 2013 comes to a close, the weather is going to be chilly and maybe even a passing snow flurry or two that you'll see this morning. Not a big deal, not going to cause any issues. But nonetheless, a little bit of that moving through. Hopefully your weekend was great. Mine was. My good buddy Danny, who is my road trip. I call him my road trip buddy because he is. He and I love to just travel. We don't go very far, but we just hit the highway. We look for old back roads, old U.S. highways, and sometimes old state highways. You know, where it's covered up with weeds, and there's old gas stations and old churches and schools and, you know, abandoned. You know, where little towns and communities used to be. And sometimes they're not there anymore. And we found a couple down in Tennessee that were just incredible. One's called Mulberry, and I wanted to call it Mayberry because it looked like it. It's just outside of Lynchburg, Tennessee. We stopped at Lynchburg, of course, the Jack Daniels distillery down that way. Beautiful little town there, just all neatly packed around the courthouse square. It did remind me of Mayberry, and it was just really awesome. I'll post some pictures later, but I haven't had time to do that. But it was great. He treated me to a nice weekend. He said, this is your birthday and your Christmas all wrapped into one. And he took me down to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, one of my favorite spots. Of course, at one time, the recording capital of the world. It was, back in the 70s, when Nashville wasn't quite that famous, and L.A. and New York, well, you know, some groups like the Rolling Stones and Aretha Franklin and different ones, they would come to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and they'd come to Fame Recording Studios. And that's so they could get away from all the hustle and bustle of the big city, and they could come down there, and they made some big hit recordings. The Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner, many, many more, all started there in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, as far as recording. So it's one of my favorite spots to go, and I was back there this weekend at the #1 Marriott in the world. Did you know that? The #1 Marriott hotel in the world is in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Well, it's Florence, actually, but it's Florence, Muscle Shoals, Sheffield, and Tuscumbia. That's the 4 cities that are all kind of put together there on the Tennessee River. But Muscle Shoals, the most famous because of the recording studios that are there. And it's just a great place to stay, great place to get away, and right there on the river. And then, you know, to be able to take some back roads, take some pictures, just kind of relax. Therapy. It's therapy for me, folks. Sometimes I just need to get away and just turn everything off and just, you know, relax. So it was a great weekend, a great Christmas gift from a good buddy, and I appreciate it so much. All right, back to the weather here as we check things out. Yesterday was, you know, turned out to be not too bad of a day until those clouds rolled in late afternoon. But we did manage to warm up all the way to 51 degrees. That happened almost at 3 o'clock yesterday. 45 is the average, so we were 6 degrees above average. 31 was our low. 27 is the average low, so we were 4 degrees above average there. 1 year ago, we had a high of 39 and a low of 29 back in 2012, and we picked up an additional 33/100ths of an inch of rain that happened yesterday morning when those rain showers came through, so a little over 1/3 of an inch of rain at the Bowling Green Airport. That puts us just over 5 inches for the month of December, and that's about a 1/2 inch above average for the month. And year to date, looks like we're going to end the year with a surplus of rainfall at around 10 inches. I don't think we're going to see any more additional precipitation added to that before the close of the year. So it's going to be right around 10 inches above normal. That's big time. All right, this morning, as mentioned, some upper-level energy passing through, a little troughy weather, we call it, in the upper flow. Some clouds have returned, and with that, you may even see a passing snow flurry or two, but it's not going to be a big deal. And then we're going to see skies gradually clear by midday or into the early afternoon. At least that's what's expected. Now, it's a possibility that those clouds may hang tough. It's kind of tough this time of year to shake those clouds and scour them out as easily as it's done in the spring and summer. So it's a possibility we could stay cloudy for much of the day, but a much colder high of only 36 with a northwest wind. Tonight, partly cloudy, cold, a low of 21, and then for Tuesday, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Tuesday, which is New Year's Eve day, mostly sunny, a little bit warmer, 41. Now, Wednesday is New Year's Day, the 1st of January, 2014. We are expecting a partly sunny sky, and then by Wednesday evening, some light rain will develop. This is with another disturbance moving in. We'll see a nice high of 47, which is a couple of degrees above average for this time of the year, so that's not too bad. But behind this disturbance, fast-moving system, a clipper, we call it. By that night, temperatures will be cold enough to where some of that rain could change to maybe some light snow or mix in with a little bit of that rain down to 30 for an overnight low. I don't think we'll see any issues with that, but if you're going to be out Wednesday night, just keep that in mind. Thursday morning, we could see a few leftover flurries, not a big deal, and a colder high of only 36. As we get into Friday and Saturday, sunshine both days, 33 on Friday, 42 on Saturday. Sunday, as we get into the first weekend of 2014, partly sunny sky, much warmer thanks to southwest winds, and another disturbance bringing us about a 40% chance of mainly rain. But it could start late Saturday night into early Sunday morning as a little mix with the overnight low being at 33. So right now, none of these systems look like to be that big of a deal. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the podcast. Thank you so much, and God bless for listening. By the way, Tina off all this week. She is on a New Year's break at home in Arizona with her family and celebrating Christmas there as well. And you'll notice a few new things today. We've got some new graphics that we're debuting this morning, news graphics, some weather graphics. I'm not finished with all of them yet, but news opens, and, you know, the names that come up at the bottom of the screen. You'll notice some of those little things this morning with AM Kentucky. As we get ready to start the new year, we throw in some new graphics. All right, have a great day. Know the weather before it knows you. I'll see you live at 5:30 on AM Kentucky and streaming live to WBKO.com.